There are several parties who may be responsible for addressing the problem of dangerous, abandoned electrical equipment, depending on the specific circumstances. Firstly, the property owner is ultimately responsible for ensuring the safety of their property, including any abandoned buildings. They are required to take reasonable steps to prevent unauthorized access and to maintain the building in a safe condition. Secondly, the city engineer or building inspector may have jurisdiction over the property and may be responsible for enforcing building codes and safety regulations. They can inspect the property and issue a notice of violation to the property owner if they find any dangerous conditions. Thirdly, a power company that provides electricity to the building may be responsible for maintaining the electrical system and ensuring that it is safe. They can disconnect the power to the building if they find any hazardous conditions or if they receive a request from the property owner or authorities. Fourthly, the police department may be involved if there is a risk of injury or harm to the public. They can investigate the property and take appropriate action to secure the scene and prevent unauthorized access. The best course of action would be to contact the property owner, inform them of the situation, and request that they take action to address the hazard. Also contact the city engineer or building inspector, report the unsafe conditions and request an inspection. Then contact the power company and ask them to disconnect the power to the building and verify that there are no live wires or equipment. It is also wise to consider contacting the police if you believe that there is an immediate danger to the public. It is important to note that the specific laws and regulations governing abandoned buildings and electrical safety may vary by jurisdiction. You should check with your local authorities to determine the appropriate course of action in your specific case. Approaching any electrical equipment with a healthy respect for the dangers of electricity is very important. Assume everything is energized until you know for sure that it is not. Always use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, when working with or near electrical equipment. Never take chances with electrical safety. If you are not qualified to work on electrical equipment, call a qualified electrician. When dealing with potentially energized equipment, maintaining a safe distance is crucial. This distance is determined by the voltage level and should adhere to established safety standards. Using appropriate insulated tools designed for the voltage levels you might encounter is also extremely vital. These tools protect you from electrical shock by providing a non-conductive barrier between you and the energized components. Lockout-tagout procedures are essential when de-energizing electrical equipment for maintenance or repair. This process involves disconnecting the power source, locking the disconnect switch or breaker in the off position, and attaching a tag to warn others not to re-energize the circuit. Always verify that the equipment is de-energized using a voltage tester before starting work. If you're ever unsure about something, ask for help. Don't be afraid to consult with experienced electricians or engineers. They can provide guidance and ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. When encountering abandoned electrical equipment, several factors should be considered to ensure safety and proper handling. Firstly, the potential hazards associated with the equipment must be identified. This includes assessing the voltage levels, the condition of the wiring and components, and the presence of any exposed conductors or damaged insulation. Secondly, the appropriate safety measures need to be implemented to protect yourself and others from electrical shock or other injuries. This may involve wearing personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses, and using insulated tools and equipment. Thirdly, it is crucial to determine who is responsible for the abandoned electrical equipment and to notify the appropriate authorities or agencies. This may include contacting the property owner, the local utility company, or the city or county government. It is important to document the location, condition, and any other relevant information about the abandoned electrical equipment. This information can be used to track the progress of the remediation efforts and to ensure that the problem is resolved effectively. Furthermore, steps must be taken to prevent unauthorized access to the abandoned electrical equipment. This may involve securing the area with fencing or barriers and posting warning signs to alert people to the potential hazards. When dealing with abandoned electrical equipment, it is important to proceed cautiously and to avoid any contact with the equipment until it has been properly inspected and de-energized by a qualified electrician. Never attempt to repair or remove abandoned electrical equipment yourself, as this can be extremely dangerous. It is also important to be aware of the potential environmental hazards associated with abandoned electrical equipment. This may include the presence of hazardous materials such as asbestos or lead, and the risk of soil or water contamination. In such cases, it is essential to follow the appropriate procedures for handling and disposing of these materials. In addition to the above considerations, it is important to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations regarding abandoned electrical equipment. These laws and regulations are designed to protect the public health and safety and to prevent environmental damage. Always err on the side of caution when dealing with abandoned electrical equipment. If you are unsure about something, seek the advice of a qualified expert. Taking the necessary precautions can help to prevent accidents and injuries and to ensure that the problem is resolved safely and effectively. Maintaining a safe working environment around electrical equipment requires a comprehensive approach that includes hazard identification, risk assessment, and the implementation of appropriate control measures. Regular inspections of electrical equipment and systems should be conducted to identify any potential hazards, such as damaged wiring, loose connections, or overloaded circuits. A risk assessment should be performed to evaluate the likelihood and severity of potential electrical hazards. This assessment should take into account factors such as the voltage level, the current carrying capacity of the equipment, and the presence of any flammable or explosive materials. Based on the risk assessment, appropriate control measures should be implemented to mitigate the identified hazards. These control measures may include engineering controls such as installing ground fault circuit interrupters or using arc flash protection, as well as administrative controls such as developing safe work procedures and providing employee training. Employees should be trained on the proper use of electrical equipment, the hazards associated with electricity, and the procedures for reporting electrical hazards. Training should be conducted regularly and should be tailored to the specific tasks and equipment that employees work with. Clear and concise warning signs should be posted in areas where electrical hazards exist. These signs should identify the specific hazards and provide instructions on how to avoid them. Electrical equipment should be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Grounding should be tested regularly to ensure that it is effective. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, should be used in areas where there is a risk of electrical shock, such as wet or damp locations. GFCIs detect ground faults and quickly de-energize the circuit, preventing electrical shock. Arc flash is a dangerous electrical phenomenon that can occur when there is a short circuit in electrical equipment. Arc flash can cause severe burns, blindness, and even death. Arc flash protection, such as arc flash suits and face shields, should be used when working on or near energized electrical equipment. Electrical equipment should be properly maintained to prevent failures and hazards. Maintenance should include regular cleaning, lubrication, and inspection of components. Damaged or defective electrical equipment should be repaired or replaced immediately. Safe work procedures should be developed for all tasks that involve electrical equipment. These procedures should outline the steps to be taken to minimize the risk of electrical hazards. Employees should follow safe work procedures at all times. When working on or near energized electrical equipment, it is important to use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE. PPE may include insulated gloves, safety glasses, and arc flash suits. Always be aware of your surroundings and be mindful of potential electrical hazards. Never take shortcuts or bypass safety procedures. If you are unsure about something, ask for help. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following these guidelines, you can help to create a safe working environment around electrical equipment. Remember to always prioritize safety when dealing with electricity. Never assume that electrical equipment is de-energized. Always verify that the equipment is de-energized using a voltage tester before starting work. Use caution when working near overhead power lines. Maintain a safe distance from power lines and never touch them. Be aware of the potential for static electricity buildup, especially in dry environments. Static electricity can ignite flammable materials. When working in confined spaces, be aware of the potential for electrical hazards. Confined spaces may contain limited ventilation and may be damp or wet. Never use water to extinguish an electrical fire. Water can conduct electricity and increase the risk of electrical shock. Use a fire extinguisher that is designed for electrical fires. Report any electrical hazards to your supervisor or safety manager immediately. Do not attempt to repair electrical equipment unless you are qualified to do so. Seek the advice of a qualified expert if you are unsure about something. Follow all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations regarding electrical safety. Taking the necessary precautions can help to prevent accidents and injuries and to ensure that the problem is resolved safely and effectively. It's important to also know about NEC or National Electrical Code requirements. Although the NEC is not law unless adopted by the local jurisdiction, it is a widely recognized standard for safe electrical installations. The NEC covers a wide range of topics related to electrical safety, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. Article 90(2) of the NEC states the code contains provisions considered necessary for safety. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical systems. The NEC requires that all electrical work be performed by qualified individuals. These individuals should be trained and experienced in electrical safety and should be familiar with the requirements of the NEC. The NEC requires that all electrical equipment be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. This listing and labeling indicates that the equipment has been tested and found to be safe for its intended use. The NEC specifies minimum requirements for wiring methods, including the type and size of conductors, the type of insulation, and the method of installation. These requirements are designed to ensure that wiring systems are safe and reliable. The NEC requires that all electrical circuits be protected by overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses. These devices are designed to interrupt the flow of current in the event of an overload or short circuit, preventing damage to equipment and reducing the risk of fire. The NEC requires that all electrical equipment be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, reducing the risk of electrical shock. The NEC specifies requirements for the installation of electrical equipment, including clearances, mounting methods, and ventilation. These requirements are designed to ensure that equipment is installed safely and in a manner that allows for proper operation and maintenance. Article 110. 3b of the NEC states that listed or labeled equipment shall be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. The NEC requires that all electrical installations be inspected by a qualified inspector. This inspection is designed to ensure that the installation complies with the requirements of the NEC. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical systems. By following the requirements of the NEC, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. Always consult the NEC for specific requirements related to your electrical work. The NEC is a complex document, but it is essential for anyone who works with electricity. By taking the time to understand the NEC, you can help to ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. It is also important to know about the OSHA, or Occupational Safety and Health Administration, regulations. OSHA is a federal agency that is responsible for ensuring the safety and health of workers in the United States. OSHA has a number of regulations that apply to electrical safety. These regulations are designed to protect workers from electrical hazards. OSHA Regulation 1910.303 covers general requirements. OSHA Regulation 1910.304 covers wiring design and protection. OSHA Regulation 1910.305 covers wiring methods, components, and equipment for general use. OSHA Regulation 1910.331 covers safety-related work practices. OSHA requires that employers provide a safe workplace for their employees. This includes protecting employees from electrical hazards. OSHA requires that employers train their employees on the hazards of electricity and the procedures for working safely with electricity. OSHA requires that employers provide their employees with appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, when working with electricity. OSHA requires that employers have a written electrical safety program. This program should outline the procedures for identifying and controlling electrical hazards. OSHA requires that employers inspect their electrical equipment regularly. This inspection should be designed to identify any potential hazards. OSHA requires that employers correct any electrical hazards that are found. Compliance with OSHA regulations is essential for ensuring the safety of workers. By following OSHA regulations, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. Always consult OSHA regulations for specific requirements related to your work. OSHA regulations are complex, but they are essential for anyone who works with electricity. By taking the time to understand OSHA regulations, you can help to ensure that your work is safe and compliant. When dealing with 13,200 volts, extreme caution must be exercised. This voltage level is considered medium voltage and presents significant hazards. Only qualified personnel with specific training and experience in handling medium voltage equipment should work with or near it. The equipment must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, including insulated gloves, sleeves, and a face shield. Maintain a safe distance from energized equipment. This distance is determined by the voltage level and should adhere to established safety standards. Use insulated tools and equipment that are designed for the voltage levels you are working with. Follow lockout-tagout procedures to de-energize equipment before performing any maintenance or repairs. Conduct a thorough risk assessment before starting any work on or near energized equipment. Be aware of the potential for arc flash and take appropriate precautions. Never work alone when dealing with medium voltage equipment. Always have another qualified person present to assist in case of an emergency. In the case of abandoned equipment, assume that it is energized unless it has been properly de-energized and verified by a qualified person. Notify the appropriate authorities or utility company to address the situation. Never attempt to repair or remove medium voltage equipment yourself. If you are not qualified to work with medium voltage equipment, stay away from it and call for help. Remember, safety is paramount when dealing with high voltage electricity. Taking the necessary precautions can help to prevent accidents and injuries.